Welcome to our special Do.Town edition of Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockrell. Thanks for joining us. In September of last year, the city joined forces with the cities of Edina and Richfield, along with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota, to launch a campaign called Do.Town. Let's take a look back to a late November interview with Mayor Winstead to find out what it means to be a Do.Town. We'll also snag a few fitness tips. The city of Bloomington has recently embarked on a new healthy initiative with the cities of Richfield, Edina, and partnering with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. Why don't you tell us a bit about the Do.Town campaign?
The Do.Town campaign, well, it really goes back quite a ways. It goes back to, there's been a lot of research done about healthy living and living longer. And they come up with some factors and lifestyle traits that can really extend your life and give you a better quality of life health-wise. And so we took a look at that, and we started to, with the mayors of Richfield and Edina, we came together and said that these are some of the things we can probably work with and really help the health of our residents for better quality of life, but then too, even a longer life. So we've come together, and we're going to be starting to implement some of these different actions and programs going forward, just really for the betterment of the communities.
Well, yeah. We'll talk specifically about some of the events, but although when the event kicked off in September, it wasn't the most perfect day. There were some raindrops coming down, but there was a fun kickoff walk around Normandale Lake. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, it's this program is being put together in conjunction with Blue Cross Blue Shield. They've come to, and they're helping us really kick it off. So it's a partnership between our cities and Blue Cross Blue Shield. And one of the people who was at the kickoff for it was the Do Groove guy. His real name is Dexter. Most people don't know that, but it's very fitting. And he's the one who does those commercials that have really caught people's attention, and he's just a lot of fun. And he's a real character in his own right, and he really does motivate you and get you out moving. So the Do Groove guy can make it happen. He gets you going.
He does, and makes you laugh every time you see those commercials. Well, there have been several events since September's kickoff. Why don't you tell us a few of the highlights of those events that we've seen over the past couple of months?
The elements of the whole Do.Town campaign are really pretty basic. It's healthy eating, it's good foods, it's also a stay active, an active lifestyle will just help your health. And so some of the things that have been going on is, of course, our ongoing farmers market. Good foods coming to, locally grown foods coming to the community, and people are turning out in droves at our farmers market. It's really been a great event, but it's right in line with this. In conjunction with the schools, we promoted a bike and walk to school day for the kids to be active. You know, maybe you can not take the bus this day. Maybe you don't need a ride from mom or dad to school. And so a lot of them were walking and biking, getting some exercise, a little more active living worked into your day. As well as we've done some things with our minority populations in the community, the Somali group and the Latino fair that took place here over the last month, just to really integrate those minority populations and really kind of sell them on the message and all that can be done. So there's things going on. There'll be a lot more coming down, and because we're just really getting rolling now. So.
Absolutely. And two of the things that you mentioned, the farmers market, obviously huge turnouts always, but the bike walk to school day and the Somali Latino fair had great turnouts this year.
Great turnouts. We were really surprised at the amount of people who were attending or participating in both of those events, so it was great to see.
Absolutely. Well, there's also an employer initiative that is part of Do.Town that's kind of in the works right now. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's so important to engage the community completely, our citizens and residents, our schools, in these activities, but the employers in our community too play a major role. And many of them have initiatives of their own going on, and we'd like to learn about them. You know, they're putting in healthy cafeterias, they're putting in exercise clubs, they're putting in bike to work type programs. Well, if we can help coordinate all these things, we can really spread that and take it out there. So a lot of our employers are already involved, but we're not unified, so we're going to be bringing it together between our three communities.
Wonderful. Well, as you mentioned, the popular Do Groove guy was on hand to get residents to move their body at the kickoff, and you actually did that yourself in a public service announcement that we're going to take a look at right now.
Okay.
I'm Gene Winstead, Mayor of the City of Bloomington. I'm really excited about a collaborative between the cities of Bloomington, Richfield, and Edina. In partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield, everything we do in the planning and development of our city, we can keep in mind different ways to allow people to live healthier lives. The initiative is Do.Town, and we're looking for the help of all of you.
Let me see you shake that body. Come on and rock that body. Let me see you move shine. Everybody move your body. Let me see you shake your body. Come on and rock that body. Let me see you move something.
That was a great public service announcement. And
You like that, did you?
I
Okay,
did.
okay.
It made me laugh. Now, when you're not grooving your body, how do you stay fit, Mayor Winstead?
Well, a couple of different ways. One thing, been trying to eat healthy. That really does help. That's a big part of it. But I have been riding my bike. I got a bike a few years ago and trying to ride for recreation and exercise both. But now I'm just kind of using it, and I'll run a few errands on my bike. I'll head out around town, maybe head to the store, pick up something that's needed, as opposed to driving. So just trying to work things into my everyday routine. But probably, I've been playing a lot of golf over the summer, so that's a lot of fun too.
There
So
you
I've,
go.
I've been using that as an excuse to stay healthy.
It's good exercise
It's
if you
great
don't have the cart.
exercise, yeah. So, those are the things that I do. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a bit about why it's important for a city to do whatever they can to promote healthy initiatives within the city. I mean, there are benefits that are far beyond just, activities and such.
It's just really to promote, get the word out, be there, try and organize. As mentioned earlier, if we can get the businesses in our community, which is many, many people who work in our city, to just help promote these things, learn from them, we can teach them maybe a few things, and everybody get together and thinking in one direction will really make it happen. And we as the cities can really be the center of that and the catalyst of that, and so that's the way we're working it. The decisions we make as a city, we want to try and just make it easier for people to live more active and healthy lives.
Well, now that we've got the lowdown on Do.Town, let's take a look at some ways to keep a healthy mind and body in Bloomington. Since beginning this campaign, we've started a segment called Do.Town's To-Do List. Let's take a look back at what we've checked off our lists to date. We've been following the local pickleballers for some time now, from the dedication of the new courts at Westwood Playground this past August to their continued play well into October. Now we'll follow the sports enthusiasts into their new winter digs inside the Bloomington National Guard Armory.
We love these new digs. There's no snow, obviously. A nice even surface. It's a very nice facility. We're glad that Parks and Rec's got it for us. So we're starting our second week and happy as can be.
Pickleball is a sport that combines ping pong, badminton, and tennis. But the larger paddle and wiffle ball takes some of the stress out of players' knees, making it a low-impact activity perfect for the aging population or people with past leg injuries. First, let's take a look at the equipment used in pickleball. Well, now John is going to tell us a bit about what kind of equipment we use to play pickleball. John, kind of looks like a ping pong racket, but it's not.
No, it's bigger than a ping pong paddle. The rackets are pretty much uniform size. They have controlled dimensions, so there's not much variation. They can be made out of a lot of materials: wood, graphite, composite.
So that's the paddle. Tell us a bit about the ball that pickleball is played with.
The ball is a wiffle ball. There's different choices. This particular one is mostly called an indoor ball, has larger holes and is softer and slower than an outdoor ball.
Next, on to serving. Well, now the start to the game and one of the key components is obviously the serve. John, show me how I serve in pickleball.
All right. The serve has to be hit below the waist and in an upward motion. It's a little different than other games. But
Okay. And we're aiming for the opposite square, is that correct? Just like tennis.
yes.
Now that I've had my lesson, I'm ready to try my hand at a real pickleball match. Go easy on me, guys. Is that in?
Yeah.
There we go. Come on, John, up top. Barbara says the group is out at the Armory several days a week and everyone is encouraged to come try out pickleball for themselves.
We play here from 10:30 until 1:30 or even later, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And anyone is welcome to join. We have loaner equipment, and we're more than willing to help give lessons, beginner's lessons in a group or one at a time, whatever they'd like to try.
Minnesota residents are well aware of the fact that winter is cold, long, and oftentimes boring. And when cabin fever gets you down, take a turn at trying a new winter activity. The Bloomington Ice Garden may be the perfect place to start checking things off your to-do list. According to the U.S. Figure Skating Association, the number of adults hitting the ice for fitness and pleasure is rising, largely due to the all-body workout a skater receives.
One of the misconceptions a lot of people have about skating is that it's all done with the lower body and the legs. And in fact, a lot of people, once they start skating, kind of find out that they have to use their core body muscles a lot more and their arm muscles a lot more than they expected, because especially when they're first skating and they're having their arms out for balance and keeping them out for an extended amount of time, they really start feeling that. But we really think that it's a good core exercise and it's good for body alignment and balance.
Renee Galasinski has been skating for more than 40 years and began teaching residents of all ages 25 years ago. Let's see if Renee can teach me some of the basics of recreational skating. Now Renee is going to show us how she begins teaching any newbie when it comes to ice skating.
Okay, first thing we're going to do is learn how to sit down and get back up.
Okay.
So this is all part of that kind of learning how to fall safely thing, because we really, there's a whole big, awareness of concussions now. So we really want to avoid falling back where a lot of people hit their head.
Okay.
So what you're going to want to do is get your arms out.
Okay.
Really bend your knees and just bend, and then just sit down.
Okay. So that's a proper fall.
Right.
Okay. Now how do we get back up?
Then for getting up, we're gonna roll over on hands and knees. We're gonna put one foot up, and you can push on your knee or push on the ice or both, and that's just gently push up.
All righty.
And that's it.
All right, we got it. Learning to skate involves facing new challenges daily, and the results on a person's health can be great.
We have a lot of people that take up skating for exercise if they have maybe some knee issues that their bodies can't withstand too much running or walking and the impact on the joints. And so with skating, it's a much easier impact for the lower body joints. And a lot of people, don't like to be hot and sweaty when they're exercising, so they can come to the rink and it's nice and cool, and it's a different break than being in the gym.
After learning the safe way to fall and finding your balance, the next step is learning a simple crossover skating technique.
When you take one foot and move it over the other one.
Okay.
So the foot that's crossing over,
Is the
that
foot that's
same arm is going to be in front. You're going to want to get a nice stretch here and this stretch underneath.
Oh, got it.
So you get a stretch and a stretch. One thing you want to avoid is this.
Oh.
So you don't want those, and that's a really common thing, like in hockey strides, that kids, get this going instead of having that stretch out and then bringing it back underneath you.
So now that Renee has taught me how to get going when ice skating, I think learning to stop is an important thing too. Tell me about a basic stop.
Okay, basic stop we're going to do is the snowplow stop.
Okay.
We're going to stand here and keep our arms out, cushion bent knees. We're going to push our feet out. Right.
Okay.
So you're going to make some snow and just feel that pressure on the ice.
Okay.
And then from there, we can try it moving. Great.
Wonderful. As the lesson gets more intense, some might say I became a bit overly acquainted with the ice, but that's all part of learning something new. Now, on to the next part of our lesson. Well, now that we've learned some of the basics, falling and getting up and snowplow stopping, why don't we take it a step further? How do we skate backwards?
Okay, backwards. You're going to start with your arms out,
Okay.
and you're just going to kind of twist at the waist. And as you're doing this, you're kind of applying pressure to alternating feet. So you're going to kind of feel pushing with left foot, left foot, and then you just kind of go.
Okay. Well, that was quite a workout. Thank you, Renee.
You're very welcome.
And if you'd like to learn any of the things that we talked about here today, Renee is here several days a week teaching ice skating lessons. For more information, visit the city's website. There's a link on there to the Bloomington Ice Garden. Snowshoes have helped humans get around during the northern winters for thousands of years. So what better way to stay active this winter than by learning a bit of unique regional history and strapping on a pair for yourself?
Starting with the Native American people that were here, hunters and gatherers, and probably watching, I imagine them watching a wolf chasing after a deer, and guess who won that race? Because the deer have that long, skinny foot with a heavy body, the wolf, the big foot for going on top of the snow. So probably nature observations are where a lot of inventions come to be. You got a big foot, you stay on top of the snow. So trying to spread that weight out over your feet where, we're fairly heavy-bodied. We walk through deep snow and we sink, and it takes a lot of energy to walk through a snowbank, or deep snow. So putting on a snowshoe, it distributes your weight, spreads it out, and so you don't sink as far. And that makes traveling much easier.
Richardson Nature Center in Bloomington is just one of many parks and trails offered to snowshoers within the Three Rivers Park District. Snowshoes are available for rent at this location, and according to Jane, the rest of what you'll need is simple: warm clothes and a sense of adventure to hike the many miles of trail.
Snow really silences sound, and if you want to experience real silence in a wooded area in the wintertime, it's just on snowshoes, it does that for you. And I think it just helps that mental attitude of just getting out and being physical.
Well, as you can see, snowshoes have definitely changed over the years. Why don't you start, Jane, by telling us a bit about the different kinds of snowshoes that we see here?
Sure. This is the Ojibwe snowshoe, and this is really what traditional snowshoeing, when you think about snowshoe here in Minnesota, because a lot of the areas where people went snowshoeing was in brushy areas, and you can see where the tip, two pieces of wood that come up, and they would use that tip to move brush aside and get through areas easier.
Okay.
And then this is another style called the Michigan style, and has more of a curved toe and kind of a more bent toe in the front. This would be where there's really heavy, deep snow and kind of a wider foot. So these are great when we have several feet of snow. Okay. And I prefer these actually over the aluminum snowshoes that are more modern today, because they really do spread your weight out much more, and you don't sink as far, and it's just easier walking in really deep snow.
Today's modern snowshoes are no maintenance aluminum shoes with metal grips on the underside, perfect for icy or downhill conditions. Well, obviously the first step to snowshoeing is getting your shoes. If you don't own a pair, you can rent them here at Richardson Nature Center for $5 for an hour. Jane, why don't you show us how to get into them properly.
I would love to. So let's, sitting on a bench is always easy. And there is a left or a right. And it's basically wanting your straps on the outside. It's just easier to get them on.
Okay.
So there's not like a shoe. But the first thing you want to do is unbuckle the top piece that just kind of clips open like that.
Okay.
And then there's this heel strap, and you want to loosen that up as much as you can. Just it makes it easier when you step into it.
Okay.
And then you have your toe piece, and I always just loosen that up a little bit.
Okay.
And do that to the other side. I just have them wide open so it's easy for you to step in there with your own boot.
Okay.
So then let's put our right one on maybe first.
Okay.
And get your toe right into that front toe piece on the binding. And you can just snug it up there to that plastic piece that comes over your toe. And these are so easy. You just kind of pull on one side and then pull the strap just to tighten it so it feels tight on your toe, but not too tight because you want to have blood circulation going so your toes don't get cold. And then just pull that piece on the back over your heel.
Okay.
And then just pull that strap till it feels tight on your heel. Do you feel that?
Yep.
And then there's this strap, and these, you know, each snowshoe is a little different, but this strap is kind of nice. It goes over the top and then just clips in like that, so easy. And then you just tie that tight.
Now it's time to get on our feet and get moving. Walking for the first time in snowshoes, if you're not used to it, can be a bit nerve-wracking. How would you teach a beginner that is snowshoeing for the first time how to kind of gain their balance when on snowshoes?
That's a good one. It's almost like having, does it feel like tennis rackets on the bottom of your feet?
Yes, it does.
Because you tend to stand a little bit wider, but it's really just like walking. It's you just have to think about your balance. I know I often will take a pole, especially if the snow is really deep, because if you fall, you can use the pole to push yourself back up.
Okay.
But it also can help with just stability. So I just always tell people, just walk like normal.
Jane says in addition to using a pole or walking stick to help gain your balance, pick your toes up more than you normally would. This will help stabilize you if you're in deeper snow. And after nearly an hour out on the trails of Richardson Nature Center, I can check snowshoeing off my to-do list. Ideally, you need at least 6 inches of snow to get the best experience out of snowshoeing. You should all try this. If you're a senior looking for a place to get your daily exercise on, look no further than Creekside Community Center. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the city's Human Services Division sponsors a free, low-impact exercise class for seniors 55 and older. And with the class size growing, it's safe to say these seniors are loving this healthy routine thrown into their week. But what keeps them coming back week after week may not necessarily be the good workout, says group leader Mary Lou Nilsson.
The people, they show up and they love to do the exercise, and if I didn't do it, no one else probably would. And so I think it's because of the people that keep coming, and I enjoy doing it.
The group exercises using weights, walking routines, and various stretches during the class. And as the name Low Impact suggests, this exercise places a relatively minimal amount of stress on the joints of the knees, hips, and ankles.
So you're moving actually all your parts in your body. You're walking, you're bending, you're using your arms and legs. So I think it's for older people, and they can do it.
Just ask Mary Lou. She's 80 years old, has had back surgery and 2 knee replacements, and you don't see her missing a beat, or anyone else in the class for that matter.
I feel healthy, and am glad I can still do it. And everybody else too. They become friends. A lot of them have become friends, and so they're from 80 years old up to maybe 85, 86, a couple of 90s, but they keep coming.
And after the exercise group wraps up for the day, participants are encouraged to head over to the Buyers Club, also located at Creekside, and do a bit of shopping. Buyers Club is a food mini market operated by older adult volunteers. From veggies to nuts to produce and dry goods, The things you see on the grocery store shelves will likely be on the table at the Buyers Club. A dose of daily exercise for local senior citizens and a healthy food market right in the same location. Be sure to keep these events a regular fixture on your to-do list. If you have an idea about a to-do list segment, which is meant to promote an event or activity that encourages residents to strive towards a healthy mind and body, email me at the address shown on your screen. And that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This program is a presentation of the City of Bloomington Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockrell. Thanks so much for joining us for this special Do.Town edition of Bloomington Today.